I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired for my last job. Hot wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard. Beat my brother-in-law half to death. Lost $20 on his football.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Okay. I always grab the wrong mic. I think I should be microphone one.
We could swap it while
No. See, it's color-coded even. There's a little green thing here, and there's a green light on this very, very expensive board, and I'm just not,
It's hard.
I want to be number one, even if it's only in Ash's absence. And yet, here I am, number two, which is okay. Reminds me of the book by the great Gale Sayers, I Am Third. Great movie, Brian's song. 62 years old. I bet I've seen Brian's song 40 times. It's just like True Grit, Top Gun, the first Rocky. If I turn it on Lifetime channel and one of those shows is on, I simply can't stop watching.
Can you jump in at any point?
Any point. And I know the dialogue. I can quote Top Gun to you. Just by, I better honestly, Top Gun 50 times.
That would be a show right there. Just
yes.
You recall.
I decide when to take the shot.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, I still cry. Billy D. Williams, James Caan, great, great movie. It's the great melding of and the perfect timing of civil rights struggle, a lessening in problematic race relations, the fact that sports bridges all religious and secular gender, well, not gender anymore, we'll get to that, but sports bridges all the gaps. It doesn't matter what color you are in a foxhole or on an NFL team.
That's right.
Those things. Anyway, not to bore you with that, although we have an hour.
I think Junior's talking about you, number two, on Facebook. So
Junior,
we should probably block him.
Junior could be blocked. There's my mother. Good morning, Mama. She knows that I still cry at movies. I don't cry at dumb movies. Like I don't cry at Marvel movies. Captain America died. I don't cry
but
at
more
that.
like Wedding Crasher. You're all over.
The
Tears.
absolutely. Don't you want to get hopped up, make some bad decisions? Yeah. Give her the miles. Give her the miles. You can keep the miles. Dwight Yoakam at his cinematic best in Wedding Crashers. Yeah. Great movie. Greg Garcia, first one in. Sherry Merrick Jacobs back with Merrick back in her name where it belongs. Maybe she got hacked. Maybe that was a secondary Sherry Jacobs that checked in yesterday. Scott Tomko, Lisa Poole, Amanda King, Marvin Mickish Jr. No relation to Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. Junior Samples, Rena Shear, Heather Kraft Stewart, Mark Kurtz, Bobby Leiser, Wendy Hughes Garcia, Randy Langston. Good morning, Randy. There's JP Hull with more or less. Monty Howard, good morning, sir. Stephanie Connie, Scott Tomko. Yeah. Randy Langston, who does number two really work for from the Austin Powers series? My mom's going, what? You're number one with me? Yeah. Solid. Linda Chris, Jr., of course. Tammy Williams. Yeah. Oh, how he did live. Great movie. Great movie, Brian's song. Matt Boucher, Jarrett McCrugan. Watching Brian's song, similar vibe to Remember the Titans. If I'm in an airport, I'm in a hotel, and I've got to choose a movie that I haven't seen, I've got no problem rolling the dice on anything that Denzel Washington is in. Anything Denzel is in, I'll give it a shot. Denzel's as old as me. He's still believable in the movies. What are they called?
Action movies?
Yeah, he did one. He's done 2 recently. The X something or another. Somebody will tell me. That's why I have a great audience. Doesn't matter. But he's good in both these movies. Judge Posey, thank you, sir. Now, I'm going to tell you why I love Don Posey. Because he's smart. And Judge Posey, some people know a little about a lot. That's probably me. I know a little about a lot of things. A lot of them. Judge Posey knows a lot about a lot. And that helps. So when his mind and my mind align, I feel like I'm on the right track. Now, that's a lot about my relationship with Ash. You may say, you guys are really different. He's a midget. You're a huge guy. He's not that smart. You're very bright. You see Ash in me. The Equalizer series. Thank you, H.R. Mallory. And
I was looking it up, but I haven't.
And while that may be true, that in so many ways I'm superior to Ash, especially when he's not here to defend himself, we complement each other very well. He comes at things from the view, politically, from the view of a legal immigrant, came here, did his time, put in the work, became an American, extremely, extremely proud of the opportunity he had to become an American citizen, has made me more patriotic just by being his friend, just by understanding that I should appreciate my gift, my blessing from God to be born in the United States. Ash is a unique individual and somebody I'm very, very proud to call my friend. I don't like him, but he serves a purpose, you know? You're not commenting, Commander.
So one of our listeners put something up, and I was fact-checking it real quick. Gene Hackman, wife and dog found dead in home.
The dog did it. That's my first thought. Gene Hackman died?
Gene Hackman, his wife, and his dog. Some of the reports are saying carbon monoxide poisoning.
Terrible.
But I haven't been able to verify that enough yet to say that on the air.
There you go. Well, just you keep searching.
Yes, sir.
I can tell you with great confidence also, any movie that apparently the late, great Randy Langston says he was 95 years old. Any movie Gene Hackman was in, he ain't no Kevin Hart. Mm-mm. He makes good films, made good films. He was phenomenal. He made The Firm a great movie. So there's Jackie Lassman Parsons. Ms. Parsons, I want you to fact check me. I was told yesterday, one of the things I wanted to talk about today was the power of advertising. And I'm going to do that. And hang on a second here. Good morning, sir. Oh, hang on. Let me get you where you need to be. That's on me. That's not on you, sir. Can I get you just to hang on for 1 second? I gotta finish one little comment and the weather, and then if you'll hang on 1 second, that'll mean the world. It's
Sure.
It's 60 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today of 75, and I don't want to waste any time. It's precious time. We're joined now. So the Deerland Feed folks have given us the weather, 60 degrees going to 75. But remind me, I've got something to tell you about Deerland Feed in a few minutes, and I will do so. We're joined at this moment by the Honorable State Rep, House District 30 State Representative A.J. Louderback. Good morning, sir. How are you? Do I still have you? Hello?
No one has A.J. Louderback.
Chuck Norris.
No one puts him in a corner.
Where would he be?
I think A.J. Louderback could beat Chuck Norris. Personally.
Absolutely. Chuck Norris is 85 years old. AJ, you there? I lost him. I'm going to call him back because I have the power to do that. Let's see if he answers.
Hello, AJ's phone.
Good morning.
Hey, I was going to say I know of your prowess with a Browning-based automatic firearm, things like that. You and me together with 2 cell phones is just a problem. And I get that. Yeah. So I did just say we're joined by the Honorable State Representative from House District 30, A.J. Louderback. Good morning, our friend. How are you and what's happening in Austin, Texas?
Doing well. Things are cranking up here day by day as we prepare for committee work next week for the House. The House has not heard any bills. There are no committees that have met yet, but as next week, the committee schedules are expected out today, so we will look at those and act accordingly as bills are dispersed. Obviously, the governor's emergency list will be first. The emergency declarations will be first, and so that's where we are now. But things the Capitol is absolutely full. Grill is full. We had nonstop meetings yesterday till 6 o'clock. So it is definitely moving.
How do you feel? I mean, like you and I have discussed, and we both just share an affinity for this entire DOGE process and exactly the purging of the chaos that is the federal government. How do you feel so far about the efficiency of what's going on in Austin? Do you find yourself saying, let's go, let's do this? Or do you find yourself saying, well, these things just take time and we're now getting our committees rolled out. We're now getting our assignments rolled out because, as somebody who follows much more closely now, I find myself going, where are we at? Let's do something. What's your immediate reaction to that?
I've said for a long time, in many years, that there's just no real sense of urgency. I mean, my sense of urgency on getting things done is different, obviously, than the state government.
Right.
It was even different for county government at times, where we just had to take a pause and take a breath and get lined back up and move slower. When you need to get some things done. So, and I'm exactly the same now because I think we could have had 2-3 weeks ago. I think we could have had committee assignments. I think we could have had chairs at that time. I think we at least could have handled the emergency declarations coming out in much the same fashion that the Senate did. So right. The Senate has always historically moved faster than the House. With 31 members in the Senate, you're just able to do that.
Right, so, as opposed to having to herd 250 cats.
150.
Yeah, 150.
Yeah, 150 that's going to go. So it's just going to be a different deal as far as that goes. But we will. Looks like next week it will be the start. And as bills are heard, come through the committee, accepted to the committee, come through the committee, and go on to the calendar at that point in time, where you're in the meat of the session at that point in time.
Awesome. Our friend Tammy Williams just says, I'm just saying vouchers will take Abbott out of office. You made me think about, you mentioned something to me off air a while back about the business, the industry of schools. And I couldn't help but think about that a couple of weeks ago when we heard about the $2.25 billion bond appropriation promoted by Salina ISD, a district with 5,478 students. They want to build a $650 million high school, put $125 million into an existing high school, build a $250 million junior high, and then build 6 or 7 ranging from $65 to $95 million elementary schools, because they just know that it's about to grow that direction. And I couldn't help but think about the infrastructure that requires, the electricians, the concrete people, the industry of building schools, and how much money, how much you could educate people for $2.29 billion in a town that has 5,400 students. I just don't think the if we build it, they will come is good for the taxpayer. I think it's just craziness. And yet, apparently 30 people a day move into Salina. So, you know, I find that hard to believe. I really, there's nowhere for 30 people a day to live. Maybe 10 families. It's not happening. But,
well, we're looking at an industry that's extremely heavy. I mean, it's $96 billion just in the industry of the school industry. But it's phenomenal. That's more than the gross products of several countries.
I want to write a book, and I want that book to be, demanded reading at every school, and then that way I could make a killing too, because school books, like I can go to Amazon and buy a big old thick coffee table book for $15.95. But if I buy a school book, it's $200, and you're like, how can that be? Why is that? That's crazy.
I know.
How are you holding up? Are you doing good up there? Have you had to wrangle any liberals anywhere? Like trip somebody in the hall? Do freshman things?
There's been a few. I'm as the Honorable Ms. Keeling said earlier, that vouchers will take Abbott out. I'm not so sure.
That was Tammy Williams. Yes, sir.
Oh, Tammy Williams.
Yes.
Well, I disagree. I don't know that 90,000 kids out of 6 million.
It's not.
I've never been scared of school choice, and I've always said from day one for the last year, I've always said I'm fine with school choice as long as it doesn't defund or cripple the public school system. And, I still stand by that because, that's the truth. I don't think it's going to, I'm just not scared of it. I just don't think it's going to hurt our area. I don't think it's going to hurt the state. In fact, we have access to so much information up here, for the past month and some days that it's an incredible amount of information from independent sources. There's some sources from TEA. There's just a lot of information in the school world itself. And, most people don't have any idea how much data there is out there on what's going on. And, our governor has been he's a poll person. Polls are a major part of Governor Abbott's
You
world.
put it very politely. I say he blows with the political wind, but I'm respecting exactly where you're coming from.
Well, and their value, they have some value. I don't know if they're all true. The polls I've been involved in during the campaign and so forth were pretty accurate, and it came to be. So, on the parental freedoms on picking where your child goes to get their education is very strong. It's very strong, in District 30. And it's got statewide appeal.
Yes, sir.
And the office tracks the amount of pros and cons on the whole thing. And again, I'm just House Bill 2. The House, I think, chose a much better way. Dr. Buckley chose a much better way of taking care of school finance first in House Bill 2, and ESAs are House Bill 3. But House Bill 2 looks considerably better, in my opinion, than Senate Bill 2, Senate Bill, the Senate passed ESAs first,
right.
and that to come will be the Senate version of school finance. So,
well, without getting into the weeds, can we put our teachers at ease that there's going to be more money appropriated to the schools in the next couple of years?
Absolutely.
Okay,
and teachers' raises are in there.
Good.
HB2 is something to look at. There's a lot of money in it. There's a good teachers' rate. And in fact, for education, this is going to be the education session. So I'm very pleased that the STAR test, I believe, will be going away here from Texas,
Good.
and the expense of that it'll be replaced by some other kind of achievement test. But I think its days are done, and that's House Bill 4. And then we got House Bill 6, which is a very strong, well written. I've had quite a bit of input on the discipline standards. On increasing discipline where teachers can gain control of their classroom again.
Well, I tell you what, I think I speak for our audience. Everybody just sat up a little bit in their chair when they found out that former Sheriff A.J. Louderback is on the discipline committee. The beatings will continue until grades improve. I think that what you're going to see out of these vouchers, sir, is an increase, a demand from the public for more accountability for students and their parents. And I think you're going to see a demand for more creative discipline, freedom for teachers and helping public school teachers gain control of their classroom. I think the public school is going to have to compete. So why do people want to leave the public school? They want a better education for their kids, in theory. They want to feel that their kids are safe at school, which could be folly. You may be much safer in a public school with an SRO there than in a private school. But they also want to feel that their kids are not going to be distracted by disciplinary issues and problems in the school. They want to get away from the thugs. And I believe you're going to see a move because of vouchers. The public school is going to have to find a way to deal with the turds. And I think it's coming. So we applaud you. Callie Frommy sums it up. She says, it's a shame that the House has taken this long to get committees rolling. The session started January 14th. Frustrating when the legislature only meets every other year. The clock is ticking. I couldn't agree more. And I'm seeing that urgency at the federal level. And I know that you feel it personally. I remember that, you have to vote on, hey, let's take 5 days off. Why? You're only here every other year. Let's get it done. So proud of you. And
vote on that. We're able to, on the floor, we're able to try to get things done. And there is a lot of talk about certain bills, and we're shopping the different bills that each member has and gaining support for those. But, I'm critical. I voted no each time. The only time I voted yes on taking the days off, which, just get back to the district and work there. But, it was when President Trump was inaugurated.
Yes, sir. And that makes perfect sense. Yeah, and Americans should stop for that. Greg Garcia wants property tax reform. Chief Deputy Will Franklin says, good morning, Representative Louderback. There's Janie Alvarez. Great group in. Kathleen Leininger says teachers' raises rarely get to them. A good amount gets siphoned off by admin. Thank you, AJ, for listening to your constituents and representing us. So there you go. Andy Rokovich adds 100,000 vouchers will be offered. Victoria will be lucky to get 50 vouchers. It's just not going to affect our local schools. The idea that there's going to be
the reality of it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a big nothing burger and much ado about nothing. Well, sir, we know that you're swamped and we appreciate no pun there. I know you're not part of the swamp, but we know that you're very busy, and I appreciate you taking time to call us this morning. And just wish you Godspeed, sir. You're doing a fantastic job, and we really appreciate your time every time you take the time to call us. So
appreciate invite calls and information. So
Yes, sir. I'm going to come up there soon. It's going to be Brent Carter Day at the Capitol. I can't wait. I've throngs of admirers and fans in that area, as you know. So,
well, I'm waiting on you.
Yes, sir. I'll come see you. We appreciate you very much.
Yeah. Absolutely. God bless y'all.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye, sir.
Adios.
So that was the Honorable House District 30 State Rep, A.J. Louderback, Sheriff. I still call him Sheriff. He wears a lot of hats.
He does wear
a lot of hats.
Mostly cowboy in style.
So yes, absolutely. Now I've seen him in a cap, but he looks like a SWAT team member. It's usually a fitted ball cap. I want to get back to what I was going to tell you about Dearland Feed. See, I'm not completely Joe Biden. I don't just completely dementia away. But we always tell people, when you go down to Dearland Feed, tell them you want the Wade and Carter blend. And they laugh at you, but they always put the 21714 American Plant Food bag in the back of your car. And it's a great product. It's just the best mixture of the nitrogen and all the stuff. I can't tell you what the phosphate, I can't tell you what the three things are. Commander, look that up for me. There's three things. 21714 is the mixture blend. 3 parts of this, 1 part of that. You know, that's how it works. But we also talk about Balan or Balan or whatever, Balan. Say Lebanese pre-emergent. I made that up. It's not Lebanese, but there's probably a dozen ways to say it.
American made.
I was told when one of our listeners went and tried to pick up a bag, and there will be more bags brought in, that last year, Dearland Feed sold 18 bags of that pre-emergent. It's high-tech stuff. It is the real deal. So you can go buy your weed and feed and watch your clover grow, or you can buy this stuff and watch your St. Augustine or Bermuda grass grow. 18 bags last year. I was told that they sold 24 bags last month. So if you're running a business that has anything to do with volume, Chevy dealer, electrical contractor, restaurant, flooring store, call us. We have the broadest audience. I'll tell you this, we have the broadest demographic. We're about 50-50. Good morning, Crystal Map. We're about 50-50 men and women. Most of our listeners are adults who buy things. Wade and Carter is a fantastic way to reach about 10,000 people every morning. And soon to be across a region, because we're going to be live in Corpus as well. So that's going to benefit Went Services. Went does generators in Corpus already. But when we're live in Corpus and Went's advertising there, by the way, they've been grandfathered in since day one, Cody. They still pay the original amount that they were gracious enough to give to a couple of knuckleheads who had no audience. We have kept their pricing the same since that day. 8 years now, no price increases.
Definitely getting more for their money at this point.
Absolutely.
I mean,
tremendous exposure.
A producer helped a lot.
No doubt. Well, having a producer is the world, but it also lets you know, and let me just take a minute. I'll put this on the screen for you. I'm patting us on the back here, but I'm going to give you honesty. Went Services, it's good for the chopping block, a relatively new business, to be associated with Went, Brand Us, Atzenhofer, Allen's Record Service, Compadres, proven businesses in our community. It's good for Dearland Feed and USA Concrete Coating and Veracruz to all be in the same conversation as elite businesses. White Trash Services, Elite, Palace Bingo, been around forever. But we've educated folks about the charitable function, what it's really all about.
Sure.
Chesnick Furniture. Chesnick Furniture doesn't need Wade and Carter. They've been around 100 years. We're not arrogant enough to think that we're really changing these businesses. But we enhance what they do that allows them to do it. And by the way, a special thanks to Bobby Leon just for having the vision to support the forum. He's like, you guys are pretty conservative. I think you focus on telling the truth. I like it. So there you go. Now, BJ Nelson does say the vendors supporting Abbott, they want vouchers passed so they can line their pocketbooks. At the end of the day, it's always all about money. But the doom and gloom folks who seem to think that it's going to be the end of the public school, I think they're like the Democrats that scream, Donald Trump is taking $800 million from Medicaid. Folks are going to die. Folks are going to die. No, they're not. He's taking $800 million out of their administrative budget. Recipients aren't going, it's just going to be fewer people actually getting the work done.
Right.
That's all it is.
All right. 21,714.
Tell us what it is.
21% nitrogen.
Right, which makes the grass green.
7% phosphate. 14.
Which heals the soil, I think.
I don't know. That's your part.
Matt
I just look
Beauchene
up
knows
facts. 14% soluble potash.
Potash.
Oh, okay. See,
Potash. And that probably aerates your soil.
Yep. And then that leaves 5%, which is sulfur.
Now I'm going to read this. Jackie Parsons put this on 4 minutes ago, and I hadn't gotten down there, so I'm very proud to read this. I haven't read it. I'm going to read it verbatim. Question: Does advertising work? It definitely works. This time of year, we encourage fertilizing and putting out pre-emergent. Over the years, with the partnership with Wade and Carter, we have seen how well it has worked for Deerland Feed Store, from fertilizers, feed, pet food, and even the red funnel. Nope, we sold more bags than that. You sold more than the 24, Jackie P. That's awesome. I think what made that stuff sell was the day that Jackie came in and went along with the gag and called the guys from the back room. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the
scream. Yeah, but it was a scream that she did that I thought was awesome. I'm sure people all the way over to the Catholic Church down there got nervous. Unbelievable. Kendra Blake says, yes, I need to come on the show and talk about Sparklight fiber internet. Yeah, you can. We call that $1 a holler. Come on. Oh, look, and Jackie put on there nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, 3-1-2 ratio. We did sell more bags this past month of the pre-emergent. How about that? Yeah, we're like the Super Bowl, J-Dub. It's $5 million for a 30-second spot. But if you want to do it monthly, it's much, much more affordable. Yeah. H.R. Mallory says, more people tune in here than the Super Bowl. True story. Good morning, Kerry Bump. Wow. Kathleen Leininger asked, did you hear that listening devices were found in the Oval Office's Resolute desk? The Resolute desk, of course, being a gift from England. Sure. Resolute guest, but come over here. I'm not going to turn your microphone on, but you're like Mike Parker with the Scott Taylor Band. Your mic's not going to be on, but no, but you, the Resolute desk being, of course, a gift from England. I don't remember. It was carved out of wood from an old English ship. I don't remember the exact story.
You think we could get JP like a tambourine or something so at
Push
least
up.
he's busy?
There you go. You're live. You're hot. Say hi to the folks. Say hi, folks. Yeah, should be on. Is he on?
You put the headphones
There
on right
you are.
today.
Oh
Cody.
yeah, just knock yourself out there. It's like bring your kid to work day. He's just going to play rodeo. Mark Kirk says he's just dismantling the studio. I'm glad you
8
didn't have
years
one of
to
your.
build it, 4 seconds to break.
I'm glad you didn't have one of your Tourette's moments just then and like just curse when you knocked
Just
that
put
off.
it on the bill.
Absolutely, we'll just take it off our rent.
Our monthly rent, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to give you guys an update, and I'm glad you're here. Feel free to chime in. I want to give you an update on how I see this Ukraine thing going down. I did some research. I actually do some research. I've got no problem giving you my gut feeling on things and the disclaimer that, hey, it's just my opinion. But now I've done some research, and I want to share with you that, so Marco Rubio, I heard this straight from the Secretary of State via satellite. He went to...
Can we talk about how you said the word research?
Yes, or it could be research. Do you research things, Commander? Look that up. Is that a tomato thing?
Sorry.
There's nothing online about this.
Sorry to
Okay.
interrupt your flow.
No, but that's what's great. Is
So back to Marco Rubio.
I'm really sharp now. I'm sharp, so I'm back on top of this. Like I can go bam right back. I used to lose my train of thought.
Squirrel.
Right. Oh, there.
Still waiting.
Marco Rubio went to visit with President Zelensky and talked about the idea of wanting to partner with Ukraine. We, the United States, will front the money. We will bring the technology. We will bring a certain perception of security because American engineers and people will be involved. And we want to partner with you, front the money to do it, to mine your rare earth minerals and we'll split the proceeds, split what we get 50-50. Now, I wanted to know why this mattered. Many of you will understand that this raping of the land, this water-based strip mining that's going on in Africa, much to the ignorance of the Africans who have no idea what they're giving up. China brings in 245 cubic metric tons of rare earth minerals every year. The U.S. is second on the globe with 45 million cubic metric tons of rare earth minerals. Apparently these things are used in everything from batteries to car parts. I mean, they're very, very important, integral to what we do.
No doubt, especially the lithium batteries.
There you go. So very important. China is leading the market on this by far. Now, what's interesting is Marco Rubio, who really has no reason to lie, let's just want to call him a liar. He says, look, I go over there and visit with Zelensky. Zelensky's like, man, we can do that deal. That's a good deal. It helps us repay what we got from the U.S., which, by the way, Zelensky's been a little over the tips of his skis a couple of times. The U.S. gives him, $50 billion, and he's like, you need to do more. You need to do more. Look, dude, we don't owe you anything. We believe in your cause. We're trying to be the good guy here. Now, President Trump, and we'll get to his airing because, Trump talks off the cuff too much for a guy that world markets hinge on what he says. If Trump said, well, we're pulling out of NATO, I mean, Europe's going to plummet.
I think both Elon and Trump do that, and I think they probably are going by the philosophy of don't let perfect get in the way of being good.
Fair. I agree with that. But
can I get that on the record that you agreed with something else?
Absolutely, and I do that quite often, just behind your back. By the time Rubio got home, and you'll remember this, Zelensky was flexing. I will never give up the sovereignty. I will never give up our minerals, because he told Marco Rubio, I've got to run this by my legislature. He's not a dictator. He doesn't have the authority to say done.
I mean, I'll say the same thing I said 2 days ago. They're going to go, here's 20% of our country. Thank you. Let's call it a day.
So Elon yesterday in the cabinet meeting, which it still blows my mind that the left is all bunched up because Elon Musk wasn't vetted by Congress. He wasn't elected. What's he doing in a cabinet meeting? So Donald Trump, when he gets all those people together, his cabinet, Kristi Noem, Marco Rubio, RFK Jr., it goes on and on. At least they're interesting people. We know who they are. He gets them all together in a room and he invites Elon in. Has he violated the Constitution somehow? I mean, people are wanting to, I can't believe he's got that guy. Well, I watched a live video of it. You know how? Because the media was in there. So if the media's in there, why can't, right, they weren't vetted by anybody. Why can't Elon Musk be in there? And Elon said yesterday, and stop me when I'm wrong, I'm not saying the United States shouldn't absolutely support Ukraine. But supporting Ukraine, Elon Musk said, does not allow for prolonging a war that Ukraine can't win. I think we all agree. If Russia wanted to really drop the hammer and squash Ukraine, they could dust off one old nuke and send it over there and do it. It's not rocket science, although it is rocket science. They could get rid of Ukraine in a blip. Would it start World War III? Maybe. Might. But the bottom line is they could make Ukraine go away. They could make Ukraine succumb quickly.
Dusting off the nuke reminds me of the Ferris Bueller. Just roll your old bones up here and show your grandmother's dead.
There you go.
Just roll that old thing up there.
Roll our old bones up there.
Just roll that thing out to the launching pad and let's see what rips.
Unbelievable. Boom, blows up Russia. Anyway, you have somebody you see on there? Go ahead. You just really take over. You're the landlord. Just take over. What are you seeing?
I don't know. There was something I wanted to see.
All right. So while you're doing that, let me finish my thought.
Sorry.
It's okay, Ash. I'm used to it. The Ukraine people are now apparently understanding the reason they rejected Trump's original proposal, we want $500 million of your minerals, was because it didn't provide enough security. Zelensky wanted American troops on the ground, in effect, with a certainty. I mean, Trump could take one American soldier and stand him on the border, and Russia would quit shooting. There ain't no way they're going to take a chance of killing an American soldier in Ukraine. Now, the Biden administration and Kamala Harris were perfectly content to continue showing how much they care, expressing their feelings by just pumping tens, hundreds of billions of dollars into a Ukraine effort that, in Elon Musk's words, was only killing the flower of Ukraine. Why should young men from Ukraine continue to die trying to kill young men from Russia who neither side want to be there?
From Russia and North Korea.
Why can't we stop the war? People say, Trump's going to get us in another war. Trump's saying, look, I'm going to end the war. The left says, well, we don't like how you're going to end it. We want Putin to lose. Putin ain't going to lose.
I think Trump's looking at dollar bills.
Absolutely.
And so he's going, let's stop spending money over there.
And let's make some money together.
Right.
So at the end of the day, the president, once again, is playing chess while the world watches checkers. You're watching it, and you're feeling sorry for Ukraine, and boo, Russia, boo. And that's all fine and good. That's called politics. Now, where Trump did err / lie / exaggerate is the number is not as big as Trump has said. Oh, we've given them $350 billion, and Europe's only given them $100 billion. It's not true. But I will say that the U.S. cumulatively, for military aid, for humanitarian aid, for the equipment that we've given them, it's about 50-50. Within a couple of tens of billions. And
50-50 U.S. versus other countries.
U.S. versus the EU. Yes. The group of people who met last week has given, actually, I think a little bit more than the U.S.
Mark Kurtz, I don't know you, but I'm sitting on the stool. I thought about standing on it so I didn't look so short next to Brent.
Mark Kurtz is slightly taller than me and better looking.
And I don't, there's a Victoria Livestock show. I guess they're going to show the kids' work on Monday. I think my daughter's is in that, so that's cool.
Your daughter, is it artwork?
No, they do a drawing, and she placed in something.
They do a drawing. Is it artwork?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it, folks? Help me out here, folks.
No, I thought you were saying, like, is my daughter going to go stand up and be the artwork?
No, I'm not trying to pimp out your kid. What is she, 8?
She's 11.
Interpretive dance. She's not doing that. That would be probably against the law. CPS, if you're listening, please just disregard the last 30 seconds of the show.
And whoever asked day before yesterday if I had a brother named Danny, I thought that was a dig that I was Danny DeVito. I thought that's where they were going.
See, and that just comes from a lifetime of being an Aggie. You're just so insecure. It's just, did you notice last night? Now I'm
not insecure.
I know you're not at all insecure. No, you just walked in.
As he reminds you, he's not insecure.
He just walked in and said, I'm coming on the show, walks up, throws on the headphones like a boss and turns his mic up. He's clearly not insecure.
Well, I wear headphones 80% of the day, and I still don't know how to put them on. So I'm not sure I'm that secure.
No, you're fine. But yeah, no, you're doing good. Trying to remember what we were talking about before that.
Squirrel.
You're not pimping out his daughter.
No, you're trying to go back to
artwork.
CPS. That's not good. Andrew Alvarez says, hey, the president's allowed to basically assign a non-elected government official in a temporary spot for 210 days under the Federal Vacancies Reform Act. The thing that gets me is, if let's say you're a leftist Democrat and you are diametrically opposed to Donald Trump, how can you be against something that will end this war and help the U.S. recoup some of the money that it has spent and give us a competitive advantage against China on things involving essential minerals? You got to figure there's a reason that Russia wants that area. Now, I have some bad news for you. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I guarantee you Ukraine is going to give up some land in this deal. And the Democrats are going to whine and cry that this is a win for Putin. Putin's just shown that if the Russians are aggressive, so what is your next vision, that Putin's going to attack Italy and just want like the tip of the boot? I just don't see it happening. It's just not happening, okay? He wants just the tip, tip.
Do you think that people that live in Italy talk about just the tip of the boot?
Just give me the tip of the boot. Yeah. Kathleen Langer says, I'm out of patience with Zelensky. I feel for the Ukrainians.
No doubt.
Who have been denied the opportunity to vote for their leader, who consistently throws them under the bus, expecting them to put their lives on the line while he is protected and stuffing American dollars into his back pockets.
Right. He was a comedian, right?
He was a TV guy.
Yeah.
It honestly would be like me taking over Cambodia.
Good luck.
Yeah. Well, I'd be the tallest guy in Cambodia.
I actually have a question for you that I'm uneducated about.
I doubt you're uneducated. You never ask questions you don't know the answer to.
I do. This one I don't know.
You're putting me on the spot.
No. So vouchers are getting passed, are attempting to get, you had AJ on. He was great. Nice of him to call in. But we're talking about vouchers at the state level, right? But
correct.
Isn't there also a discussion at vouchers at the federal level too?
I think that Donald Trump is suggesting that every state, I think education is a states' rights issue. And I think that Donald Trump is calling on all the states to have such a thing.
So he's pushing to do it at the state level, not that the federal level would take that on. Is that right? I got it.
Right, 100%. Let's see, I thought I had something I wanted to show you or that I thought was interesting.
Whoever's texting me, no, my fly is not down. I'm not even going to look at my phone.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's just craziness. So it says Ukraine is home to roughly 5% of the world's critical raw materials. See, you knew there was a reason. You knew there was a reason back then that Barack Obama was hanging out in Ukraine. The reason that, how many of you honestly had heard anything about a Ukrainian issue with Russia before Joe Biden so famously said, look, I'm wheels up, Jack. Before Joe Biden jumped into the fray to assure that his son Hunter wouldn't be in trouble, Hunter being the 50-something-year-old crackhead that Americans sympathetically look at as like, he's just a college frat boy that's gone awry. The guy's a complete clown. He's a total loser. He's in his 50s, and he's curled up with hookers with his crack pipe. Now, I'm not saying he's not having a good time, but he's not fighting his addictions. He just got caught. That's all that happened to Hunter.
100% agree.
Right? He's just the scourge of the earth and a huge embarrassment to his father. The best Biden is the one that passed away, which, by the way, the Kennedys often say about their own son, Joseph, who died in a plane crash. But at the end of the day, so here's the final paragraph. This comes from 1440, which I find to be an essential source. If you don't subscribe to the 1440 newsletter, do.
Who has the time to read this stuff?
I do. Every morning. I read it for you. The preliminary agreement between the U.S. and Ukraine does not include explicit security guarantees for Ukraine, which Kyiv had sought in negotiations. It's interesting. They have absolutely no power. They have absolutely no leverage, and yet they're negotiating with Donald Trump. Good luck. The deal follows earlier drafts that were rejected due to insufficient security guarantees and a U.S. demand for $500 billion in mineral profits. That means there will be $100 billion in mineral profits. We're going to split it with them 50-50, and we're going to do the dig. That's like if you have a piece of property and I tell you, hey, JP, I've been paying for this ranch for you. You have no money. Tell you what, I'm going to come out there at my expense. I'm going to drill an oil well, and I'll split it with you 50-50.
Tell me more about this ranch you're giving me.
There you go. And that's it. Remember that the negotiations with Ukraine wouldn't be happening without the United States. There would be no Ukraine.
But Trump's going to walk a tightrope with this because on one hand, he's going, hey, Zelensky, you can't even show up and come to the meetings. On the other hand, you need to pay us back with minerals for the money we gave you.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, I'm guessing like you are. You need to give us 20% of your country.
Right.
And to end this thing.
I think
it's a tightrope to walk. He's got to really going to thread the needle if that's what he's going to pull off.
It's a real fine line. And I think that Zelensky, I don't know if Donald Trump sees himself as a global negotiator. I mean, I see Donald Trump at times as the
art of making the deal. Of course, he sees
real
himself.
estate tycoon so if you're gonna say Zelensky's just an actor, Trump's not really that far ahead of him as a human being. But
it's funny,
right? But I find it interesting that Zelensky badmouthed the president, and we all know that Trump's ego will not. You just can't, and Zelensky knows this. You can't bully the president. He's not going to be bullied by a guy that he has over a barrel.
Well, Zelensky's playing a slap fight game, right?
Right.
He's got to push back a little bit
For
to show
credibility.
I'm not a wussy.
But he is a lapdog, and he's going to be a lapdog,
right?
And that's what's going to happen.
That's right.
At the end of the day, if you're a huge leftist Democrat and you don't see ending this war, no matter the cost, ending this war with some structure that's going to appease Russia. There was a time we would have done 1,000 different things just to appease Russia. Now the United States is going, well, we've kind of shown that this capitalism thing works better than communism, and, you might want to listen to our offer.
I mean, we know who has the leverage, the money and the muscle.
That's right.
And has the leverage.
Amen. In most scenarios, right?
Yep. And basically the muscle is because of money, right? We have more weapons than you, which comes down to money. So
right. It's like, look, at the when everything comes down to, well, I want this, well, I want that, well, I won't do that, well, I won't do that. Well, how about I just whip your ass? Well,
right.
then at some point you got to have a conversation.
Right. If I have a gun and you have a knife, guess who's going to win?
You're going to win.
Or it's, on Landman, he says
AJ Louderback's going to win that.
Well, he would come in with nunchucks and a popsicle stick, and people would lose eyeballs and kneecaps. That's what would happen there.
If you watch Landman and he goes, I'll tell you what, hammer in hand, hammer wins every time.
No kidding. No doubt. Jared McCrugan says, and he's pretty sharp, Ukraine has been bombing the Donbas region for years. They will lose that. Russia also will solidify Crimea, which was part of the Russia for 200 years plus.
So they're going to land grab back stuff that was theirs a long time ago.
Which is no different than what's going on in Gaza.
Thanks, Jared. Thanks all you guys for commenting
Yeah,
on this stuff.
they're super sharp guys. Jared knows what he's talking about, even if he is Canadian.
Not Junior.
Junior has no clue.
Ignore that one.
Did we ban him yet?
No, we keep him around just to show people just how advanced we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Junior, the AI video for Gaza is hilarious. If you haven't seen it, that Trump reposted out.
Let's see. I'm just going to read this. I trust Randy Langston. He may not be agreeing with what I'm saying, but let's just see what he says. In March 2014, following the Euromaidan protest movement and the resulting revolution of dignity, how can you be against that? Large swaths of Donbas became gripped by pro-Russian and anti-government unrest. The unrest later grew into a war between Ukraine government forces and pro-Russian separatists affiliated with the self-proclaimed Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics, who were supported by Russia as part of the broader Russo-Ukrainian War. The conflict split the Donbas into Ukrainian-held territory. I don't know if there's any more there.
Randy, can you put some harder words to say?
Yeah, I'm just like, you are stretching my vocabulary, bro, so I just put it on the screen. But good stuff. Very good stuff. Thank you.
Brent on a ranch, is that like Brent on a mobile?
It must have come from a bottle. Me on a bottle of ranch dressing. Yeah. Some guy from Texas apparently went to Russia and was fighting with them in Donbas. There you go. Andrew Alvarez. AJ is the Chuck Norris of the Texas house. Thanks, Funky. Let's take a quick break because we are very, very fortunate to have sponsors. You too, JP, could be on this board. We talked about wind services. We talked about the chopping block. Chopping blocks just got – I went in yesterday. Picture a redfish fillet. And, you know, when you fight a redfish, you get that bloodline in there. So you just kind of cut that out and then you grill it on the half shell.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what a hanger steak is. They call it a hanger steak because it hangs off the sides of the cow. It doesn't do a lot of work, but it's a muscle that's really well marbled, but it has a piece of gristle in it. Chopping block cuts that out for you. And Donnie last night cooked that up like fajitas, marinated it for a very short period of time, and then grilled it like fajita meat, and it is so tender. It is so much better than, you know, flank steak. Get by the chopping block. I think it was like $8 a pound. And then when I was there was like an instant savings deal.
I love that place. And
Yeah.
I told you last time I was here, I love the wings there.
Oh, yeah. And you can just buy them by the pound, and they just throw it all
Throw them in the
the
oven and or the
Absolutely.
air fryer. They're perfect.
Absolutely. Brand us. We've talked about Commander Cody and the great things he does. He'll take on your projects. Give him a call. Find him on Facebook. He'll be your wingman. I always think about Tom Skerritt going, give me a call.
By the way, speaking of wings, so you managed to work wings into both of those.
I do that.
I'm a huge fan of Frank's hot sauce to dip wings in. That's like the
Frank's, huh?
Yep. And
You own a portion of that?
yeah, I'm
Just I
sliding in a
just wondered if
a
you
free advertisement in here.
owned a chunk of that.
Yeah,
Red hot.
Frank's hot by JP.
Yeah, it's JP's hot sauce is really
JP's
good.
hot sauce. Adsonover and Adsonover.com. I saw you last week working in Tommy Taylor's flower beds. I thought that was very gracious of you. And you're trying to get a discount on your next Chevy. That's what you need. You're what are you now? You're like 40-ish.
Yeah.
You need a Corvette. That'd be in a
I
big
do
gold
not.
medallion. that
But
just
if I
says
was going to buy it,
JP.
I would go to Atzenhofer. I would talk to
Absolutely.
Tommy about it. He's a good dude.
He told me, I'm telling you folks as our listeners, he recognizes our demographic. And Mr. Taylor told me, tell your listeners to come in and ask for me. He's been another grandfathered from day one sponsor. I'll never forget walking into Tommy's office. I think he was about 12 at the time. And Tommy, kind of like Richie Rich, but really more like Collie McCalkin. He's sitting there and he said, how many listeners you guys got? What's your demographic?
0.
I said, we got 0, bro. We got 0, but we got an idea and we have a commitment to tell the truth and we have a commitment to let everybody say what they want to say.
I thought you said he gave you the one finger salute.
That was because
This week.
I didn't buy it. Well, he does that now. We're that close now. Yeah. He will
I'm just saying, a bright orange Corvette with the Wade and Carter logo on it.
be hot, wouldn't it? On the hood.
Yeah, it looked real nice.
Be nice.
Maroon.
But Tommy says, come on in. He'd love to see you. We'll get to the fighting Texas Aggies in a minute. White Trash Services, White Trash Site Services, 550-1826. You live out in the county, you need trash service. Call White Trash. It's pretty simple.
They're
You
great.
Right? They're super folks. Palace Bingo, we mentioned them. Bobby Leon, we mentioned them.
And I think with White Trash Service, challenge them and say, this is my problem. How can you do it? Because, BJ or one of
Scott.
they're going to answer the phone.
Absolutely.
And
You call and
I've done
talk to a
that.
human being.
I've gone and done that and said, hey, my aunt's house needs to be cleaned out. You got any ideas? In New Braunfels.
Absolutely.
So,
And then, of course, Paravita Wellness. I know you know Erica Briggs well, and I saw you and Ember out walking yesterday, exercising. It makes sense to complement that with a dietary, setup, meal prep that you don't have to do. That's somewhere between you having to do it at home and eating out of a bag. I promise you, if you go to Whataburger, which I love, no slam to Whataburger, but if you go to Whataburger, free plug for Whataburger, and you order a burger, fries, and a soda that's laden with sugar that RFK Jr. wants to take from you, if you do that, you can eat and have a healthy energy drink at Paravita for less money.
Absolutely.
And it's fantastic.
Well, I'd like to offer any of the listeners that they can come up and sit in the green room and listen to this show live and see the beautiful offices at 205.
I totally, we encourage people to come so you know where Greeks 205 is. There's a door, and right above it, it says half. And that half, we're at 205 and a half. come upstairs and just
See how
enjoy
beautiful this place is.
It is beautiful.
It's amazing.
I think what Torrin did here is just phenomenal. The ambiance, the acoustics, the way he kept all the ceilings high. He could have done things. We're down to 1 minute on the program.
Actually, it's after 8 o'clock already.
Folks, I apologize. Wow. Tomorrow morning, I'll tell you about organ donors. The 100,000 people on the list in the U.S. for donors, 40,000 donor transplants get done a year. There's studies that show, I'm ashamed to say, if you're white and educated, you move up the list faster than other people. It's not a first come, first served deal. Be aware that that is a problem to me. I find that as a problem. Also, Gaza, Israel saying we will not allow Hamas murderers to roam again with trucks and rifles on our borders, and we will not let them strengthen themselves again through smuggling. They are saying they will not withdraw. It says the ceasefire is set to expire just hours after Hamas handed over the final hostages.
That's not going to end well for them.
It's not going to end well for Hamas.
Exactly.
I can tell you that. Now, I don't know where you're leaving because you just think it's over. We still have listeners. I'm not hanging
Rolling
up. I
out.
do want to tell them this if I can find it. But I just haven't found it yet. I had it. Doesn't mean that I'm stupid. It just means that there's a lot of data here. And I haven't seen what I was looking for. But at any rate, let's do call it a day. It is the top of the hour. Be safe on the roads. Know that we love you guys. And let's talk tomorrow. So over there, the far right slide, you have to push that up halfway and push the right button. The right one. Yep.
Let's win the week.
There you go, folks. Go win the week. Yeah, you still got time. It's Thursday. Be safe out there. Bye, folks.
Well, I've been kicked out of my near every bar around.